Okay. How we darn?
Okay. I don't know why that sounded like. When you said that, it reminded me of like Pitbull, Mr. 305. I have no idea why.
It's 305 worldwide. Dolly.
Dolly? What?
Yeah, that's what he says.
Let's say it again.
I don't know. Anyway,
Look, what?
I feel like Pitbull. Yeah.
I bet you Pitbull was gonna be in the Super Bowl halftime show with Usher saying, right now, what is the song that Usher is opening up with? Because I have one in mind. I don't know if you have one.
No, I don't. I didn't even know Usher was doing the halftime show.
Are you serious?
I'm finding out right now. When was that announced?
Bro, that was announced weeks ago.
No idea, but that's awesome.
Was it the one with Pitbull?
Dude, you're the Usher guy.
Is the DJ feeling song? You know,
DJ got us falling in love again.
That one.
Baby tonight. Maybe, that one.
Yeah, maybe it opens up like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Daddy. Anyway.
Side to side. Anyways. Good stuff.
Oh, that takes me back to like my high school days. Jeez.
Yeah, Usher.
What is up, guys? Welcome in. We are answering your Week 5 fantasy football questions. Do us a favor. Go ahead and drop a like. It's just a simple way for you to help support the show, to help us grow. Drop your questions in the chat. We'll go in order. The only time we will go out of order is if there's a super chat, which will be answered straight away. So let's get straight to it from Brunal. What's up, guys? Both Tajay and Chuba Hubbard got dropped in one of my leagues. Which one should I pick up? Likely dropping Kendre Miller. This would be, man, between Tajay and Chuba, that's actually really close. I'm going to lean Tajay, but it's very close. And you are muted, just so you're aware.
And I am muted, you're right. I will go Tajay as well. That's what I was trying to say. I am not a huge believer of Tajay. I know he's been getting decent workload, but I think Chuba Hubbard, especially with Miles Sanders not being 100% right now, you might want to hold on to him.
Yeah. Thoughts on Michael Wilson this week? Forced to start him with Higgins out, Brunal says. Michael Wilson this week, let's hope that it continues. At the moment, he's currently ranked as my wide receiver 37. Okay. So he is someone that I think you can flex. Am I super excited about it? I'm hesitant. This is I would say the game 2 weeks ago. I'm not going to say it was a fluke, but the game 2 weeks ago wasn't something that I watched and said, okay, this is something that's going to continue, because he had a lot of yardage on not many opportunities. Now, the game last week, 7 targets, dominated, went off against a good defense. I mean, we've talked about him on the Dynasty channel for so long, how much we love him as a route runner, etc. But it's just concerning starting a player that we don't know if we can trust yet. But yeah, I'm in that same position because I have in a league Amari Cooper, Tyler Lockett, and I think Keenan Allen on buy or something. And I'm like, well, I have to start a wide receiver. So I'm with you in some leagues, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, don't expect Michael Wilson to have a crazy big game. At the moment, I'm not saying he is a Gabe Davis, but it kind of feels like a boom bust type of play right now. And I think that's where I am kind of putting that stamp. Like, he's a boom bust play. Last week or 2 weeks ago, only 2 targets, big yardage. That's kind of what Gabe Davis does. And then he goes up with crazy targets, finds the end zone. Not saying he's Gabe Davis. I
don't really like that comparison. I get where you're coming from, but we're talking. This is a rookie who's getting into his role.
I'm saying like in a fantasy production standpoint. I'm not talking about like
I hear you.
His talent.
I just think it's too early to say that because we don't know. I mean, you could say that about every rookie. Then every rookie's Gabe Davis,
Sure. And yeah, that's true. Every rookie is Gabe Davis. So wait and see. Donald Smith. Good evening, fellas.
We have a super chat, so let's get to that.
Oh, we do have a super chat.
So we'll get super chat straight away.
Yeah, I don't have that on my screen for some reason. Okay, never mind. I do have it.
It's from Jesse. It says Kirk Cousins or Goff for a 26 first. I'm assuming this is a dynasty question by the way that it's phrased. I'd be willing to send a 26 first if I'm competing. And it's a real need. It's going to drastically upgrade. But what about you?
Like, Kirk Cousins or Golf for a 26 first.
Like, I think the question is, like, would you send a first for either of those guys?
I would do it for Golf. I believe in him long term. I think this offense is going to improve with J-Mo. Kirk Cousins, I'm not. I'm 100% right now. If I have Kirk Cousins on my team and someone's offered me a 24, no matter where that first is, I'm taking it. I don't think you can find that value anywhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully that helps, man.
Thank you for the super chat. We do appreciate you guys. Over 40 people watching now. Go ahead and smash that like button as we help you guys set your lineups and answer your questions. You can help by helping the channel grow with a simple drop of a like. So go ahead and do that. We'll go in order. Super chats get answered straight away. Donald is the next question in order here. Says, good evening, fellas. What a distinguished gentleman. Do I pick up the Saints versus the Patriots or Texans versus the Falcons? I'm going to lean the Saints there. Don't know where you stand, but yeah, the only way, that the Saints aren't a good play is if they're as atrocious on offense as they were last week and they just never have the ball. But I think the
Patriots haven't been great in offense either.
Exactly, fair, so it's kind of like, someone has to move the ball, right?
Yeah, I agree. So I'll back you there. Dan Fuller, I traded Kyron, CD, and Gibbs for Travis Etienne, Chase, and Moss. And I am a JT owner, so Moss's insurance. I already have Jefferson and Higgins with A-Chain as well as a full PPR.
I don't like it, man. I don't like it for a few reasons. Moss is a dead asset. Like, I get that you have JT, but you just traded for a dead asset, And here's what I'll say. The only way you win this trade is if Jonathan Taylor's traded away to a different NFL team, right? Because you're essentially grabbing a guy who's now a handcuff. Like, I would not be surprised at all whenever Jonathan Taylor starts playing. In a few weeks, people will drop Zach Moss because, like, we don't need the guy.
Yeah, you're probably gonna be one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you have JT, so you might want to keep him as your handcuff. But I agree and I second that. He is not someone that's gonna be of value. Maybe you trade away Kyron, you get Travis Etienne, you still have JT and some other and let's say a Brian Robinson, hypothetically.
Yeah.
You hope that Moss is no longer going to be of value later on, but we just don't know what that's going to be like. So.
Yeah, and we want to be positive, but we also want to be honest. So if we're being honest, I definitely don't love the trade. I'm sorry.
Patrick Mahoney's.
We have a super chat from Shane.
Oh my goodness.
So Shane, we'll get to
super chat notifications.
To your super chat straight away here. Thank you for the donation, man. He says start Jameson or Addison. This would be Addison for me.
Agreed.
Yeah. Agreed. So this would be Addison for sure. Jameson Williams is a player that I love, guys. I'm absolutely obsessed with this man. Love him. Talked about him on our Dynasty channel so much. But I'm still realistically saying, like, not a guy I can start right now. Maybe not even a guy I can start next week. Like, ideally, he becomes a guy I can start in like 3 or 4 weeks. That's the way I view it.
And I know Addison had a bad week this past week, but you expect him to get. He should have a better day.
I'll just quickly say on that as well, because it's a good point that you make. Last week, the Vikings did not look like the Vikings in the sense of, like, they ran the ball more than they had in like the last couple of years. And typically they're a high-paced team. They're throwing the ball a lot. They didn't have to do that versus the Panthers. They knew, I like Bryce Young, I'm not dissing him, but they knew that Bryce Young and the Panthers are on the other side of the ball. They're going to face Kansas City this week. They will need to be in 3 wide receiver sets, So yeah, Addison for me.
Yeah, Patrick Mahoney's. If I offered Cousins and Dell or Dobbs for Lamar, too much on my end. I just really want to upgrade from an inconsistent Kirk. I think it depends on your wide receiver depth. I'm happy to do that trade if, Tank Dell or Dobbs is maybe your wide receiver 4 out of a 3 or wide receiver 5 out of a 3 wide receiver starting lineup, that's the type of hypothetical. So I'm happy to do that trade. Just depends on your wide receiver depth.
I'm with you, and I would always say, and I would also say, expect inconsistencies from Lamar too, Like, I think Lamar is going to be great rest of the season. He's clearly an upgrade from Kirk, but he will also be inconsistent. That's just the reality of his game. Robert says, Love or Stroud? Which one should I start this weekend? I'm going CJ Stroud. this weekend. My quarterback 8 on the week versus the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, CJ Stroud. And to keep in mind, Jordan Love does have a great matchup.
He does, yeah.
Should have a bounce back game
Agreed.
against the Raiders. But yes, CJ Stroud from me. All right, we got another super chat.
We did, yeah.
Thank you. I'm getting that notification now. Adam, thank you so much. Trade Puka for Kyren. I have Rachaad White on bye, and must start Najee as RB2. Look, I'm actually okay with this trade. I think it depends on your wide receiver depth. I would also say, I'm not saying I don't want Kyren, but is there somebody else? I'm not saying he's bad. Don't hear what I'm not saying. I'm thinking more, I want a bigger name. You know, can I get a Kenneth Walker? I know you have a bye week, which is tough. Can you get I doubt you can get a Bijan. Can you get a Tony Pollard? Can you get somebody, one of those big names that I'm thinking of? Still love Kyren. Still would do it for Kyren. But yeah.
Kyren looks like the truth to me.
He
I'm
is.
fine. Like, I think I would comfortably rank him as a top 10 running back rest of season, if not top 6. Is that crazy to say? I don't know. But the man right now is currently so right now he is third in targets. He's third in targets. So when Cooper Kupp comes back, does Kyren's role get limited, or does Tutu and Puka get limited? You know, you guys have to decide that. I think everyone maybe takes a small step back, but okay, you go from like third in targets to, let's say, 6th or 7th or 8th in targets. That's fine for me. Like, I still see you as like a top 5 to 10 asset rest of year. So I think this is a pretty even deal. And I would say this, like, given how, me and Sam Green talked about this last night before we did our dynasty trade. I traded away Josh Jacobs to him, and we were just talking about how difficult it is to trade for running backs right now. That's across all platforms, dynasty, redraft. So the fact that you're able to get a running back in a season where they're very hard to acquire. Like, have you guys tried to acquire a running back in a league lately? It is not easy. So I think this is a pretty even deal, and I would be happy to take the Kyren side myself.
Yeah. Once again, still happy to do the trade. Just thinking of other names that maybe I personally feel a little bit more comfortable with.
That's
still
fair.
Feel really great with Kyren. So love the trade, love the idea.
I
Thank
hear
you
you
so much for the super chat. Yeah.
Odds are that guy he's making a trade with doesn't have like a Ken Walker on his team, though.
No, for sure. And I agree. And you think of someone and the reason why I say that, and I guess just to kind of close it, because Kyren is top 3 running back so far in the season. And I know Tony Pollard, not that he has been living up to expectations. He's still like top 10 in RB. Bijan Robinson is still top 10 running back. You think of those guys that maybe you can get a little bit quote unquote cheaper and maybe get a throw-in piece. Something small, can you get I don't know, a Zay Jones? Can you get some whatever that you maybe maybe that person doesn't find as valuable, but maybe you do, right?
Maybe Zay Jones, Duke Kaboom, right?
Duke Kaboom.
Get a throw-in.
Get a throw-in. I'm just thinking of those little things, trying to take advantage as much as I possibly can. Hopefully that helps.
Akshay is the next one here. He says, thoughts on this trade, giving Ferguson, McLaurin, and Rachaad White, getting Brian Robinson and Nico Collins. Not a big fan of this one myself. Okay, so I do think Brian Robinson's an upgrade over Rachaad. And I guess Nico, yes, technically would be an upgrade over McLaurin. I just think Ferguson's is the one that's being undervalued in this deal, oddly enough. I mean, we have not seen a game yet, in the last 3 weeks where Jake Ferguson, in 3 of 4 weeks, Jake Ferguson has had 7 or more targets. And that, keep in mind, those are in games, like we talked about with CeeDee Lamb, where they didn't need to throw the ball. What does that look like when they're in more neutral game scripts?
Give it to Jake Ferguson.
So tight end 8 on the year. How difficult it is to find a tight end? I don't know. I feel like he should yield more in a trade.
I get you. I think I'm okay with this trade because I'm in a similar position like this. Not a similar position. For example, I have Mark Andrews and Jake Ferguson. But if I'm really getting a massive upgrade, in my eyes, would be Brian Robinson and Nico Collins. I'm okay to give up Ferguson and lose that asset. But I agree. Like, maybe you can get a little bit more. Can you go out and get a Romeo Doubs, hypothetically? Can you go out and get maybe a Christian Kirk, a Michael Wilson? a Pacheco. I mean, maybe not Pacheco, but you get what I'm saying. Players along those lines, just to get you a little bit extra, that you maybe can also put on your bench. A Cortland Sutton, right? I mean, it's not sexy, but just so you can have a little bit more. So I hear you.
We have a super chat from Code Gaming. Now, there's no question attached to it, but I do see his question above. So I'm assuming that's what he was dropping a super chat for. This is tough. Watson or Dobbs, and I have Love at quarterback. You know what? It is close, man. It really is, because there's a case to be made for Romeo Dobbs. I mean, he's averaging 12.5 targets per game in the last 2 weeks. But there's also a case to be made that, hey, Watson's on a snap count. He's the one with the higher draft capital. We saw what he was able to do last year. He's the more impressive athlete. Here's what I'll say. Like, if a report comes out that Watson will still be on a snap count, I'll rock with Dobbs. But if that report doesn't come out and we think that Watson's going to be full go this week, I would go Watson.
Yeah, and you know, the reason why I'm hesitant with Watson is because, you know, the snap count. And oddly enough, Romeo Doubs is not by a lot, but he had more snaps, snap percentages on the field compared to the week that Christian Watson wasn't on the field. And it's, once again, 86 to 88.
Well, he was also dealing with his own injury, though.
Yeah.
So that's why his snap percentage is going up. He wasn't healthy those first 2 weeks, Dobbs.
Yeah, exactly. So it is very close. I would say that.
Yeah.
I would agree with what you said, though.
Almost 80 people watching the stream, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. Can you do us a favor? Go ahead and absolutely obliterate that like button. Okay? Don't obliterate. I mean, just click it. I mean, should I really be that dramatic? You know?
Disrespect it.
Disrespect it. Damn. Go ahead and smash the like button. It's just a simple way for you to help this channel grow. Can you help us get to 50 likes right now? We're 18 likes away from 50. The math checks out. We can get there. And the reason we ask you guys to drop a like is because it truly does help the channel grow as we help you set your lineups. We have some super chats. You guys are awesome. We'll get to these super chats as priority questions. Brian is the next one. He says 12-team PPR Hollywood and D-Hop for Waller and Terry. Hollywood and D-Hop for Waller and Terry. I do not want any part of DeAndre Hopkins. Is that rude to say?
No, I completely agree. It's just I feel like the most valuable asset out of this feels like Hollywood.
I would say Hollywood or Terry. We have to keep in mind that Terry was dealing with turf toe the first couple weeks. Like, he is actually now back to his full strength. So
scary Terry.
I hear you, but I think you're right. They're as evenly valued. So the question I guess we have to answer is, would you rather have D-Hop or Waller? And it's not been good for either of these guys, but I'm going to take Waller.
Yeah, I'm going to take Waller because I still, maybe my bias, and I don't know, maybe you would agree. I think this offense will get better. It's going to take time, and it's not going to be the way they started, and you hope not. But
I have no idea, dude. I really don't.
I hope that this offense gets better, especially as the offensive line gets a little bit more healthy. But we'll wait and see.
Yeah, so we're taking the Waller Terry side then?
Yes, I would agree. I am taking the Waller Terry side.
Roy, what's up, Roy? Sit.
How you doing?
Standard, sorry. Drop one. Bigsby, Latavius, McKinnon, and Gibson. This would be between Latavius and Gibson for me, and I think I'm gonna lean Latavius, and I think that might be confusing for some people. I'll just quickly say, like, if Brian Robinson goes down, Antonio Gibson is very valuable, right? If James Cook goes down, Damian Harris is there.
The thing is, Latavius Murray has been out snapping. It's not by a lot, but if I'm not mistaken, he has been out snapping Damian Harris already.
No, and I hear you, but I'm saying, like, it won't be like. Okay, so let me ask you, who do you prefer if a injury happens to the starter?
Oh,
Gibson
I agree.
Or Latavius?
Oh, I agree. It's Gibson. I guess I'm just bringing up as like a conversation as well. Like, if James Cook does go down, I do believe it's Latavius over Damian, but I would rather have Gibson. Yes, yeah. I agree.
Okay, we're on the same page there. That's all the super chats for now. Drop one if you want your question answered straight away. We appreciate the support, guys. The next question we had in order here, though, non-super chat queue, is from Kairos, I believe. He says, when would you be thinking about playoffs? 49ers just dropped, who are versus the Commanders in Week 17, or should I hold my Ravens? I'm guessing this is like a defense question. I'm not thinking about streaming defenses for the playoffs until Week 12, maybe. You know,
I would say this. I mean, without
but the 49ers
any knowledge,
are a fine defense.
Yeah, without any knowledge cards, I still want the 49ers. Period. So I would pick them up. They have the higher upside, especially there with Bosa. So I would personally pick them up if they are available, not even thinking about playoffs, thinking about these games that we still have leading up to the playoffs.
Sure.
So keep that in mind. I think the next question we have here is Greg, star 2 PPR. Richie Rich, Curtis Samuel, Wandale, McLaughlin. You love to see it here.
You know, this would be Rice and Wandale for me, I believe. Rice has been slowly getting more work, and he has the best matchup for any wide receiver this week against the Vikings. That's the number 1 matchup for wide receivers. And Wandale Robinson is also slowly working back to being an important part of the offense. So that would be my answer.
Yeah, you know, I'm really tossing up between Curtis Samuel personally. At the same time, I don't think this offense is going to necessarily need him coming into this week.
Sure.
And I think that is the hard part. He feels like he has the safest floor.
Is there a more annoying cock block right now than Curtis Samuel?
Oh my God.
In fantasy?
Get him off the team.
Like,
please.
No disrespect, I'm a Commanders fan, but I mean, you are just limiting Jahan Dotson and Terry McLaurin on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
But obviously, it's better for their NFL team to use him than to not use him, so I get it. But
yeah, and I think that's why I would go Curtis there personally. So I would go Curtis and Wandale. Hopefully that helps there, Greg. Jimmy T, star 2 between Dak, Jordan Love, and Tua. For me, it would be Jordan Love and Tua.
Same. Yeah, that's easy. I agree. 8-man PPR got offered Connor for Pearson Sanders, have Pollard and Bijan. In an 8-man, I imagine there's so many good like running back options. So in an 8-man league, I'm asking myself in a 2-for-1, where's the most valuable player? And I think that most valuable player is Connor. So I would take Connor there.
Yeah, I would agree there. Atlanta Falcons. Wow, I mean.
Wow, we have the Atlanta Falcons in the building.
Look, if you can get this message to
friend of the show,
friend of the show, thank you so much for supporting. Trade away Kyle Pitts or use him. Do something about it.
No, just trade him away, actually. Let's just stop there. Trade him away.
Do something about it.
Literally any other team in the NFL. That would be great. But his question was Pacheco or Michael Wilson. I think you have to go Pacheco there.
Yeah, Pacheco for sure.
He's turning into the unquestioned guy there. Let's see if that continues. We know how Chiefs running backs have been historically since the Pat Mahomes era began. Royer says, yes. Which trade do I make? Watson. Which trade do I make? Higgins, Watson, and JT for Tyreek and Aaron Jones, or Higgins and Taylor for CeeDee and Jones?
I would want the Tyreek and Hill side. Tyreek and Aaron Jones side. So if I'm giving away T. Higgins, Christian Watson, and Jonathan Taylor, I'm getting Tyreek Hill and Aaron Jones. I'm okay with that trade. Hoping that your wide receiver depth is okay.
You have to decide if you want to lose Christian Watson in the deal, because you still have an option to get CD and you keep Christian Watson. And I guess that would come down to how big the league is. Like if it's a 10-man, I'll take Tyreek. Even if it's a 12-man league and let's say you only have 2 wide receiver spots in a flex, I'll take Tyreek. But if you're in some leagues like we're in where it's 12-man and you can start up to 5 or 6 wide receivers at a time, I might lean the CeeDee Lamb side of this deal. But overall, in most scenarios, I'll go Tyreek.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
Jimmy says, I need a flex. Should I start Christian Watson, Flowers, or Drake London? This would be Flowers for me.
Agreed.
I am working on a video that will release, I think, Friday for you guys, titled 10 Players Who Will Dominate in Week 5. We'll be talking about Zay Flowers on the list. I'm excited for him this week. Adil, I think. Hey, guys, what do you think about giving away Watson for Olave? Yeah, give me Olave.
Yeah,
for sure.
Agreed. I want that as well.
Easy money.
I go for Sergio. How's it going, guys? Quick question. I have Stephon Diggs and James Cook on my team. Should I consider playing him or keeping him stashed? No, this week I have to play either him or Spears.
Wait, what?
Wait, I have Diggs and Cooks on my team. Should I consider playing him or keeping him stashed?
Maybe he's saying Tajay Spears because he has a comment down below. I wouldn't. If the question is, do I play Tajay Spears? I wouldn't unless there's an injury to Derrick Henry.
Agreed.
I don't know if we're answering the question, but also
Yeah.
Sergio. Do you go by Checo? You know, just curious.
Checo Sergio.
Checo Perez.
Miss you every day, Sergio.
Anyway, I don't know if we answered that question right or not. Indigo, what is up? James Cook for Austin Eckler. Easily give me Austin Eckler.
Absolutely, every single day.
Start Dobbs, Sutton, Gibbs, or Zay at the flex. This would be Zay for me. I don't know about you.
Start one. Yeah, I'll go Zay as well. It's close with Gibbs though. That's what I would say.
Diego, what's up, man? He says, "Hey guys, struggling at tight end as everyone is. Yep, Komet or Ertz rest of season. I'm going Ertz there. It was a weird week 3 for Ertz because the first couple weeks he was getting so many targets. In week 3 he had 2, and then in week 4 back up to 10 targets. So yeah, I'll go Ertz there, but the reason I say that is because I feel better about Ertz's matchup this week. The Commanders play the Bears this week, and I believe that's like the 3rd worst matchup for tight ends. They're giving like less than 4 points per game to tight ends so far through 4 weeks. So I think you have to kind of treat it as like a streaming option. Who would you rather play this week? That's the way I'm thinking about it. I know you're asking rest of season, but I think you have to stream the tight end position every week.
Yeah, I think for me, rest of the season, I still want Komet. For some reason, when Justin Fields is struggling, he finds Cole Komet. He's constantly always there. It doesn't feel consistent, but I would rather have Cole Komet rest of the season personally, okay. Diego. So hopefully that helps. Chris, why don't you use Dynasty? We're actually going to be putting out content next week on the Dynasty Land channel, guys. If you guys do not know, we do have a Dynasty channel called Dynasty Land where we focus more on Dynasty content, longer form fantasy football content. So Chris, we will be there. We've just been focusing on redraft just to give, we have limited days, weeks with this.
The way I like to answer this question is just like, think about it from this perspective, guys. It's only me and it's only Badaki. Like, all the streams, all the content, all the graphics, all the design, all the video editing, all the prep, all the ideas, the creation of everything, admin, that's all me and Badaki, right? We'd love to have editors and, put content everywhere and start multiple more channels, but we just have to kind of be wise with our resources and our time. And at the moment, redraft is thriving. But, we released over 400 videos on our Dynasty channel last year, right? I mean, I promise you, we're still going hard over there. It's just now we don't have the time at this very moment to
it's going to
spend resources on it, but it will absolutely continue to keep being a thing. And in case anyone's interested and they want to subscribe to our Dynasty channel, I'll go ahead and put it in the chat. If you love fantasy, I promise you'll love Dynasty. So yeah. I can absolutely promise you it'll be back. It's just we're trying to capitalize on the hype of redraft at the moment.
Yeah, we appreciate you, Joe. Thank you so much for all the love for the Dynasty channel, Brandon.
We have some super chats.
Okay, we get back to Brandon here.
So I believe Honda Racing, which
Honda Racing
is that as in Honda Racing Red Bull, Honda and Red Bull collaboration. Thank you for the donation. We'll get to your question straight away. DeAndre Swift or Kenneth Walker. I'm trying to pick one of these guys up, and I plan on trading away either Jake Ferguson, Algier Watson, or Palmer. They don't have a significant tight end. If you're asking me who would I prefer rest of season, I prefer Kenneth Walker. Yeah, I think Zach Charbonnet is going to play a role, but yeah, I would prefer Kenneth Walker rest of season. And if you have to trade one of those names away, it will probably be Algier for me.
Algier Watson or Josh. Yeah, absolutely. Tyler Algier.
We're on the same page there.
Agree. Thank you so much there, Honda Racing. We appreciate all the super chat and the support. Thank you so much. All right, going back to the top here, and I think we left off with Brandon. Should I trade Amari Cooper and Joe Mixon for Saquon? It's full PPR. I have enough receivers to be fine without Amari Cooper.
I view Amari Cooper with Deshaun Watson as like a fringe top 12 guy rest of the year. Somewhere in the top 12 to 15. So this doesn't feel like a depth for a star trade. It feels like too much.
The reason why it feels too much for us is probably because we still believe in Joe Mixon in this Bengals offense. We expect Joe Mixon to be better. If I'm not mistaken, Joe's like RB 20 at the minute so far. And he hasn't even, and that's with Joe Burrow not healthy. So once Joe Burrow is healthy, maybe after the bye week, I can easily see Joe Mixon being a top 12 running back as well. And then I agree with Zach, and Amari Cooper, a top 12 fringe wide receiver. You got 2 top 12 assets right there. With Saquon, is only 1. It just depends. I think you can get more.
I'd be curious if there's like a lesser wide receiver you could send instead of Amari Cooper. Do you have a like DJ Moore? No disrespect to him, I would do that. A Christian Kirk, a Cortland Sutton, for example. Some of these names, D-Hop for sure. But anyway, we'll get to the next question. Do us a favor, guys. Go ahead and smash the like button. Help us get to 50 likes. Currently 8 likes away from 50. Or sorry, only a couple likes away from 50 now. Help us get to that threshold as we help you set your lineups. Super chats do get answered straight away, but the next one in order is from Joshua. Trade Burrow and Ridley for Lamar and Hall. Yeah, I'm taking Lamar and Hall.
Yeah.
I was able to trade for Breece Hall in a Dynasty League last night. Very excited about it. Because I think he's going to be very good rest of the season. I think this is the week that he pops off.
Yeah, I have Breece Hall coming up in a video that should be coming out tomorrow morning for you guys. A must trade asset coming up. Breece Hall is definitely on that list.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind there.
Is Dak droppable? Already tried trading him. No one wants him. In a 1 quarterback league, yes.
Yes.
Because there's no way you get any value for Dak in a 1 quarterback league by trade. Kittle or Ertz? This would be Kittle for me still.
Yeah, it's still going to be Kittle for me.
Goff, Burrow, Howell, or Dobbs? This would be, I think, Howell for me. Let me double check, though. Yeah. This would be Goff. My bad.
Yeah, I was going to say, for me, this is going to be Goff. He's playing the Panthers. I know they probably dominate on the ground, but he should still have a fine game. Indigo, I have Joe Burrow and Stafford. I can get Trevor Lawrence for a wide receiver. Who would you offer for Trevor? My wide receivers are Lamb, Ridley, Puka, Garrett Wilson, and Tank. Thanks, guys. Is this a super flex league? If this is a super flex league, I mean, the only thing that I can come up with off the top of my head is either you keep that or you send Stafford and maybe a Tank to get Trevor.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think like there's a lot of context needed because like in a 1 quarterback league, the trade is completely different compared to a super flex league. So yeah, I think I can't really answer that without context. Chris says bench 1 PPR, Watson, Puka, Garrett Wilson, Olave. This would be probably Christian Watson of the list.
Bench 1. Yeah, I agree.
Should I trade Puka for Kyron? We talked about this earlier. I think it's a pretty even deal myself between the two.
Yeah.
Kiwi Sports, what's up? I wonder if he's from New Zealand.
From New Zealand, bro?
Could be.
Kiwi Warriors.
Have PPR, Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields. Also pick 2 of the following to play this week. Let's start with the first question, Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields. I have Fields higher this week versus Washington.
Agreed. I have Fields as well.
And the second question is pick 2 of the following to play this week, Gibbs, Watson, and Flowers. This would be...
I'm going Gibbs and Flowers personally.
Yeah, I think I'm with you there as well. Josh is hard as a rock. All right, do your thing.
You'll love to see it, man.
Mostert or Bulletproof Rob tomorrow night. I'm going B Rob.
Yeah, Brian Robinson is a fantastic start coming into this week, so I think you have to start him.
Yeah.
No worries, Donald. Addison, Shane Addison, Chris. This JT player, I need Moss. Losing Chubb and now Javonte is crazy.
I don't know, dude.
What happened today? Did he practice today?
He practiced today in full.
In full, Jonathan
and was
Taylor
activated
practiced.
off the IR.
I mean, if that is a sign of, hey, see you on Sunday, JT. Full participation.
So
we wait and see. Wait until we get closer to the week. I mean,
I
think we have to answer that question on our Saturday night live stream.
I don't even know if Jonathan Taylor knows that. Like, I think he's fully healthy. I don't even know if he's gonna play. Like, does he want to? I don't know.
We'll wait and see. Maybe he plays and fumbles the ball on purpose. Fernando, I'm scared to start T-Law this week against the Bills. Should I pick up somebody off the waivers? Love, Stroud, Goff, Wilson, are available, I would be. I'm on the same position, but I'm in a super flex league. So this sounds like one quarterback. If I'm in a one quarterback league and I have Trevor Lawrence and I see Stroud on the waiver wires, I'm picking him up and starting him over T Law.
Mm.
But that's what I would
Yeah,
do.
I think that makes sense. I would do the same. In fact,
Yeah.
I had to be realistic with myself yesterday. Trevor Lawrence, I moved down in my rankings. So, yeah, I wouldn't drop him though.
No, I'm not dropping him.
Nico Samuel or Higgins. I don't know if that's Debo or Curtis. Let's assume it's Debo.
I'm starting Samuel, but
I'm starting Nico there.
you're starting Nico over Debo.
Yes. I think
Okay, I'm
almost
starting-
every week that would be the right call so far.
Maybe I'm still going Debo Samuel, but if that is Curtis Samuel, is Nico. I think easy for the both of us. T. Law or Sam Howell. I think it'll be Sam Howell for me, but it's tough.
Yeah, it's Hal for me by one spot.
Yeah.
Trade Ridley for Waddle. Yeah, as much as I love Ridley, I do prefer Waddle rest of season.
I hear you. I agree with you. Jawan Cummings, look at that name and look at that profile picture. Shout out to you. I traded Pierce and Kelsey for Etienne. I traded Pierce and Kelsey for Etienne, Olave, and Ertz. I'm 0-4. My wide receivers are decimated.
No.
I now have Josh Allen, Parler, Etienne, Gibbs, Olave, Dubs, Ertz on my bench. Have Godwin and Amari Cooper.
Man, I'd really love to know if this is an 8-man or a 10-man or how many starters there are, because I don't like trading away Travis Kelce in any format. But you got incredible value, right? Like Etienne, Olave, Ertz is more valuable than Damian Pierce and Travis Kelce. It just is. But I'd be really curious to see how big the benches are there. What I would encourage people is, like, don't panic sell. And this isn't a panic sell, by the way, okay? But just in general, to anyone out there who is 0-4, where are my 0-4 people at? My 1-3 people. It's not the time to panic sell. You know, if good trades come, consider them. But you're going to have a lot of people. The sharks are circling, okay? And you're the meat. Don't let that happen.
You're the meat. Wait and see.
Ertz or
Cooper,
Kincaid?
I'm going. I mean, right now to start, Ertz feels more comfortable. So
Yeah.
I'm going Ertz.
This could
But
be a big
Kincaid-
week for Kincaid, though, because
Exactly.
they face the Jags. I think that's the second best matchup for tight ends.
Yes, it is the second best matchup. I was gonna say, Dalton Kincaid, you can kind of see him starting to out target Dawson Knox already.
Which
Hey,
is
look,
good, but I will say I didn't expect him to have to even do that to begin the year myself.
Yeah, and I agree. So it's interesting, but it looks like Dawson Kincaid is starting to pick up. So we'll wait and see.
Flex,
and
Addison or
right.
Dobbs? I think I would go Dobbs
How can you not start Addison though? That's
because
so
he had
tough.
one target last week. Like, I know I just explained it, but Dobbs.
Yeah.
How do you not start Dobbs? 12.5 targets per game last
how do
2
you
weeks.
not exactly? I'll rock with you. I'm going Dobbs there, but it's so interesting. Mr. Green, I have Cup and Allen. Should I trade Puka and trust Cup? Won't get injured again. My running backs are good, and I have Kelsey for tight ends.
I'd rather trade Cup, because we know how hamstrings work for older guys. So if I could trade one of them, I'd rather trade Cup.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm okay with that. Thoughts? Anyone else feel like Brian Robinson Taco is a trap? I would like to know why you think he's a trap. He's playing against the Bears, who give the second most points to the running back position.
I wonder if he means like this year or this week. Because as a Commanders fan, I'm still skeptical that he's like the long-term future at the position. But anyway,
I don't think he's. I don't think he's the answer future-wise. Like, I don't think he plays this. I don't think he plays this season. Maybe even the way in this pace. And the Commanders still don't draft another running back. I think they'll draft somebody still, especially the way Antonio Gibson's playing. Just hasn't been great for them.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. Full PPR. What's the question? Should I trade for a wide receiver? Or should I trust in Ridley and Puka? I mean, you have Breeze, Puka, DK, Jacoby. I don't see why you would trade away them. trade them away.
Ridley, Puka, DK, Jacoby. Yeah, I mean, that's a good group.
That is a good group.
That's a good group. I would be happy with it.
I
Don
agree.
from the future. What's it like over there, man? What's it like in the future? People flying in cars, or what's the vibe? We have a super chat, which we'll get to in 1 second. My bad, but we'll get to Don's real quick. Don says, got a trade offer. Nico and Saquon to get Kamara and Higgins. I'd rather have Nico and Saquon.
And Saquon. I agree. I'd rather have that as well.
All right, the super chat is from Johnny Not Bravo. So we'll get to a
Hey.
super chat straight away. He says, Dynasty PPR, do you trade Andrews for Jacobs? I have Kelsey. What do you think? Is it a tight end premium league?
Yeah, that is a good question. I personally would still rather have the tight end long term. In a dynasty
No
perspective,
premium. No premium. I think
I
that's a
guess-
pretty even trade, personally.
I think it is an even trade. I still would rather have Andrews, though. I agree. Like Kelsey probably has another 2-3 years. Andrews, if that's the case, has another 4 to 5 years.
Right.
Because
Would
he's
you
2 to 3 years old, younger.
would you feel more comfortable if it was a?
He says he has Bijan and Brees as running back,
I would do it for Brees for sure.
but he has those guys. He has Bijan and
Oh,
Brees
okay.
away.
Man,
You know, this is what I would say. Can I trade Kelsey away high, or Mark Andrews high, and get a wide receiver and a low end running back? Can I maybe to help boost your team, or maybe somebody you believe in? Can you sell Mark Andrews or Kelsey for Jahmyr Gibbs right now? Maybe that's too much. Can you sell them for a younger wide receiver that
would you
can
do
can
Andrews
grow
for
with?
A-Chain? A-Chain?
That's tough because I
I'm
want to
there.
give him.
I'm there personally, but I know.
I'm not there yet.
Okay.
I'm not saying he can't be there. I'm saying show me another 4 more games. I'll be there.
Okay.
Consistently, I'm there. I think of Tony Pollard. I think of David Montgomery. I think you can even get more for if you said Mark Andrews. What about
Oh,
a Travis Etienne?
Yeah, I don't think I would make that move. I'd much rather
Um,
have Andrews over David Montgomery, and I'm a Montgomery guy.
I'm saying as in like get more in return as
Yeah,
well.
right. But I think in this scenario, I would want the elite asset. I don't want to trade an elite asset for 2 assets that are okay.
No, I get you. And I hear what you're saying. I think that's kind of my thought process. He says like Etienne and pick maybe. Yeah, like I'm happy with Etienne and pick if I said Mark Andrews
Yeah,
or
that's fine.
Kelsey. Like that's the younger running back I'd rather rock with.
All
Hopefully
right.
that helps, Johnny.
That's all the super chats so far, so we'll get back in order. Devin says, any streaming tight end options this week? Ertz is always a good option, I would say. Higbee versus the Eagles. I would say Luke Musgrave at the Raiders I really like. Logan Thomas versus Chicago is a fine one. Hunter Henry is always a fine one. I don't know if you have anyone else that you wanted to highlight there, but
No, I think
I was going to
That's
say
about- I mean,
Kincaid, but I just don't think he's a streamable option. I think he's owned.
I was gonna say it's not sexy. Hayden Hurst, he kind of fell off though. The past couple weeks, but yeah, I think that's about it. That's all I can think of.
Yeah.
Jawan Johnson or Jonnu Smith.
Johnny Smith, yeah, maybe. How we feeling about Waller? Not good, man. Not good.
Yeah, it's not okay for you guys. For me,
It's
be
not
honest.
good. It's not good. And I don't really comprehend it outside of the offensive line being probably the worst unit in the NFL. Brandon, what is up? Traded ETN Hollywood Tank for Saquon and Garrett Wilson. ETN Hollywood Tank for Saquon and Garrett Wilson. Kind of indifferent on this one. I think you could regret trading Tank Dell. If that's Tank Bigsby, it's a no-brainer, but I think it's Tank Dell. And I think you could end up regretting trading him right now. I'm never a big fan of like trading rookies who are producing, you know, especially early on. It's a pretty good sign that they're going to produce at the end of the year, you know.
Yeah, would you rather have Hollywood or Garrett Wilson?
Garrett
long-term?
Wilson.
Okay. I will go Saquon, Garrett Wilson, personally.
It's close.
But you know, I've
what
been
if Saquon
really
doesn't
off on
play this
Garrett
week, though?
if Saquon doesn't play this week, I think that's kind of what we're expecting. Missing 3 to 4. He was projected to miss 3 games. He was projected to come
So
back.
this is 2 or this is 3?
If I'm not, I'm pretty sure this will be his 3rd game he's missing.
Oh.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, this would be his 3rd game. So he should project. His projection was to come back for Buffalo.
Okay.
If he comes back this week, he's ahead of schedule. But yeah, I guess it all depends on your running backs.
Yeah. Should I trade Raheem for JT? Yeah, for sure.
Yes,
I'm surprised
agreed.
you can still do that. Patrick Mahomey says, "Who would you rather keep going forward, Dell or Dobbs?"
And yes, my
Yeah,
wide
geez. I mean,
receivers.
like we said, these are definitely not players that we want to drop at all. But right now, I would say Dobbs. But there's like, I can't think of a scenario where I'm dropping Dell though. But yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Next question. I'm in desperate need of a running back. I currently have Roscoe as my RB2. Thinking about trading Higgins. What running back is around Higgins' value right now? Tim Hurt. Man, this is so many different options, so many different scenarios. I'll just name a couple off the top of my head that I think he's valued based off of. James Cook, James Conner, Rashad White, Ramondre Stevenson, Miles Sanders. Those are some names that I would be looking at if I want to trade away T. Higgins. But it can go anyway. It all depends on how that person values T. Higgins. So hopefully that helps, man.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Next one
Philly
is from
Mike.
Mike.
Josh Dobbs, Hollywood Brown, Ertz, Stack, or Joe Burrow, Chase, and Boyd for DFS. Honestly, it sounds crazy, but DFS, it feels like you want to go with the Cardinals team there. The way the Bengals are playing at the moment.
You know, but DFS though, like, I think we're all still, like, unless you're just super reactionary, which I know you and I aren't. Unless you're really reactionary, I think we could all sit here and agree, like, it could be any moment that the Bengals pop off. I know it's been bad, but, like, it would not surprise me if they just pop off this week. I'm not saying they will. Chances are they won't, based off what we've seen. But in a DFS lineup, you know, I think I'm stacking the Bengals.
Yeah, you still want the upside with Burrow, Chase, right? Like, I think that's the whole point of DFS, that, like, you hope that they're going to pop off that because of their names. Chris, what right now is the same trade value as Puka? I'm thinking Brian Robinson.
That's too low.
Too low. That's too low,
man.
I'm looking at superstars, brother. If you're looking at a running back, I mean, I'm looking at Kenneth Walker. I'm looking at Tony Pollard. I mean, I even go as high as Christian McCaffrey. I go as Saquon if he does come back. Those are some big names that I'm looking at.
I don't think you CMC, but who were the other names? Sorry that you said. I just completed a trade and I blanked out.
No, I said Kenneth Walker. I said Tony Pollard, Bijan Robinson.
Okay, yeah, I'm with you there. What
So
about Josh Jacobs? I would do Josh Jacobs.
Oddly enough, I think you can get more. But
Right.
yes, I would do Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick Mahomey, do you guys have confidence in Ramondre Stevenson going forward? I've been out on Ramondre all offseason, so I can't really speak on it. What do you feel?
Sorry, I was just looking at your trade.
Yeah.
So the question? Do you guys have comments on Ramondre Stevenson moving forward? Yeah, I do. I mean, if you look at last week specifically against Dallas, really bad matchup for the running back position. Week 3 against the Jets. I guess I can't really complain about that. It was probably just a bad game. But I do think he will continue to have better days moving forward. So
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily panicking on him. If you want to trade him away for somebody that you feel a lot more comfortable with, sure. Like, I think of so many people I can trade Ramondre Stevenson away for right now, but I don't think people are wanting to have Ramondre.
I think I'm much more pessimistic than I am optimistic, and oddly enough, it has less to do with Zeke and more to do with just Ramondre doesn't look good. And I know he's played pretty good defenses, but I mean, you can run on Miami. We've seen that, and he didn't. He was fine, but I'm just saying, like, last year he was super efficient, and even versus good defenses, he was efficient. And I'm just not really seeing any of that anymore, so I'm slightly concerned myself.
Sure. Cody Gaming. This is tough. Watson or Dubs? I have Love at QB. I think we both said Dubs there, but it can go either way.
Yeah, we answered that one. It was a super chat, I think.
Oh, okay. Thielen or Dell PPR week 5. I have to go Thielen still.
Yeah, I think you do.
Personally, whether it's CJ or Andy Dalton, so hopefully that helps. For me, it's the opposite.
That is so crazy, but yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. Next, Stalk Criminal says for me, it's the opposite. I can't get a wide receiver. I've been trying to trade Madison, Stevenson, Breece Hall since week 1.
That's because you have the running backs nobody wants. That's the problem.
Exactly. Nobody wants to trade for.
Don't trade Breece Hall away though.
For week 1, yeah.
Breece Hall, I'm actively trading for. The other two guys, I mean, I'm a Madison guy this year, and I don't think I can say I'm wrong yet. Like, I think he's, what do we say for the first 2 matchups? The most tough matchups that you could have. And then he's been good since then. But I can recognize that probably nobody's going to trade for him right now. I would love to trade Stevenson away for a good wide receiver. I just don't know who you could get.
Okay, where are we here? Phoenix, I think it was next.
Yeah.
Okay. 14. Okay, what's the question? Starting first 8, any changes? Dobbs, Olave, Kirk, McCaffrey, Brian Hawkinson. What's that? Is that Javonte, J-Mo, Ertz, Zach Moss? I think it looks great, brother. I don't know how to change it. 1, 2, 7, 8. Yeah, it looks great. Good line.
I mean, you're 4-0 for a reason, right?
Yeah.
In a 14 team to have that league is kind of crazy. To have that team is kind of crazy.
Sub boys finally dropped pits today in a couple of home leagues.
Hey, no, let's take a second though. For anyone who has dropped pits, just standing ovation. I'm not standing, but like it takes a lot to do that, right? I mean, congratulations, soldier, brave move, Medal of Honor.
Brave move, yeah, that's tough.
We have some super chats, so let's get to those.
Okay. I'm still not getting notifications.
Daniel Wright is the first one. Thank you for the donation. We'll get to your question straight away. He says, do I trade Kelsey and Olave for Adams and Waddle? Nar. I'm keeping Kelsey and Olave.
I think this really depends who that tight end is that you have in replacement and how your wide receivers are looking. If your wide receivers are really struggling right now, and you just
I guess that's a good question. Who's the other tight end?
And you got this 2 stack, I think I'm okay with it. But like if you have, let's say, a Zach Ertz or Kyle Pitts, which I doubt. If you have a Cole Kmet, I don't love it. But at the same time, that means the only way I will love this trade is if you drafted 2 top tight ends essentially.
Yeah.
So it's a risk. I'm
leaning the Kelsey side. Especially if it's like a smaller starting lineup or a league.
What if that was Hunter Henry?
What do you mean? If he had Hunter Henry behind?
If you had Hunter Henry, Evan Ingram,
maybe.
Okay. Interesting.
Terrell.
Thank you so much for the super chat there, Daniel. Terrell said, better pick up Michael Wilson or Wandell PPR week 5.
Michael Wilson for me, rest of season. And I would start him week 5. Wandell doesn't get anything downfield, and that offense doesn't allow Daniel Jones to sit in the pocket for more than a second to get anything downfield.
Yeah,
that's
the hard part. It's probably my Giants bias, but I think if they can get the offensive line line, Daniel Jones has more time, and we've seen him successful with time.
Is there a worse offensive line in the NFL right now, though?
Absolutely not. And
that's what's concerning.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing. I can't disagree there. So I hear you.
Yeah.
Danny Wright with another super chat. I got Ferguson. Wide receivers are Pickens, Addison, Olave. Okay, so your wide receivers are technically struggling significantly, but that tight end is Ferguson. Man, that is tough. Ferguson hasn't been bad though. Like, he's not terrible.
No, I can see why you have a big need at wide receiver.
I would say.
Oh my God. How big is this league though? Is it a 12-man? Is it an 8-man? How many starting, are you start 9? Are you start 8? Or you start 12? Start 11? All that is really important. Maybe he can comment really quick and let us know. Because, if this is an 8 or 10-man, I'm not trading away Kelsey. But in a 12-man, I think you can make a case as to why you should. I'll say this. If it's a 12-man league, yes.
12-man league, yes. I mean, yeah, I was contemplating it before knowing who the tight end was. So I think it's a good, especially with your wide receivers being a struggle as they are. I think this really helps your team, especially the way Davante Adams, and we believe in the Waddle boom game, which should come up this week against the Giants. So
yeah,
keep that in mind.
Hey, over 90 people watching the stream. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. Can you do us a favor and go ahead and drop a like on the stream as we help you with your questions this week? You can help the channel grow by just simply dropping a like. That just tells YouTube, I like this. I like these guys. They might be idiots, but I like listening to them. Maybe other people will. That helps YouTube push the content out to other people. So do us a favor. Go ahead and drop a like. Put your questions in the chat. We're going in order. The only time we go out of order is if someone drops a super chat, which we then go to their question straight away. The next one in order is from Thought Criminal. He says, can't trade Higgins right now. You won't get much at all. I kind of agree. Watson and Amari Cooper as well. They're on bye. Mostert for Jonathan Taylor. I think we answered this. We said definitely Jonathan Taylor. What's up, Gator? He says, would you trade Michael Pittman or Christian Kirk for Breece Hall and Terry McLaurin? So you're saying, okay,
if
first off, I would
specifically.
Go for it. Is the question 1 for 2? You're saying you could trade Michael Pittman for Breece Hall and Terry McLaurin, or Christian Kirk for Breece Hall and Terry McLaurin? But honestly, either way, I prefer Breece Hall and Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. If this is one for 2 or 2 for 2, take Breece Hall, especially if it's the league that I know you're probably talking about in the fantasy hotline.
I agree.
You need a running back, if I'm not mistaken. There.
I'm with you. Abide, what is up? Should I trade Cooper Kupp for AJ Brown? Yes. Someone help Josh out here. Jaden Reed or Gabe Davis? I'll go Gabe.
Gabe, yep.
DeAndre Swift or Ken Walker? Rest of season, Ken Walker, but he's on the bye this week, of course. Thought Criminal says, hell yeah, you should take AJ Brown. Let's see. Let's see. Jeff, I think is the next question. He says, PPR, should I trade Kenneth Walker and Lamb for Olave and Eckler?
I want Kenneth Walker and Lamb.
Oh
Eckler's phenomenal. I think I have more trust in CeeDee Lamb than Chris Olave, and I think Kenneth Walker and Austin Eckler right now feel very even.
I would really love to know what quarterback play would be like for Olave rest of the season, because if Derek Carr didn't have that injury, I would pretty easily say Olave and Eckler. Especially considering you don't have to deal with the bye week after this week for Eckler anymore. He's just in your lineup every week. But I do have to lean Walker right now without knowing what the quarterback play will be like in New Orleans. Let's see. Cowboys defense and Eagles defense. Who you got? Let me look at me old rankings here. Eagles are my number one defense on the week.
Eagles. Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm going Eagles. Addison or London rest of the season. I'm going Addison.
Same.
They're talking to
James Conner or Gibbs. This week, I guess, is the question. Would be Conner for me.
It would be Conner as well for me. I think
back to back in my rankings.
I feel like rest of the season it'll be James Conner as well. Honestly,
probably at this point, I think.
At this moment, yeah. Sally Conner by Ahmad. Okay, Jake said, "Do you think they put Heineke in? If somehow they lose to this week, not saying you guys are going to lose, but if you lose this week bad to the Bears and then next week bad, then maybe they can.
What are you talking about?
You're talking about, oh shit, I'm thinking Taylor Heineke is still on the Commanders.
What? No.
Yes, Taylor Heineke could easily be put in the next week or 2.
Yeah, I don't know. How would Heineke replace Hal right now? Come on, man. Hal's playing incredible.
I was thinking of Washington.
Like, wake up, kid.
Wake up. Yes, I agree.
Lions ruined Swift. Now they're ruining Gibbs. Yeah, I also think we got to be careful, guys. I mean, I showed you guys this last week before week 4 happened. And I just want to show you guys again because I just think we got to be so careful of making just finite conclusions after 4 weeks of football. You know, what happens in the first 4 weeks is not always representative of what's going to happen rest of season. You know, if we look this time last year through 4 weeks, let me try and make this a little closer. All right, this time last year through 4 weeks, look at that. RB4 on the year was Clyde Edwards-Helaire. We were telling people to sell him, and they were telling us we were crazy for telling that, right? Remember that? I remember those videos. Last year, James Robinson. Remember that? I was all aboard Travis Etienne. People were clowning on me. I was telling people to buy Travis Etienne. James Robinson was a top 12 guy through the first 4 weeks. Did that last? No. Cordero Patterson, did that last? No, not really. Damian Harris was a guy in New England at that time. It wasn't Ramondre yet. Unless I'm mistaken. No, it wasn't Ramondre yet. That changed. You know, Gibson was a top dude in his offense. So the reason I say all that is just because it's very likely that we learn a lot of trends in the first 4 weeks, but that they're not always sticky. They're not always going to be, you know, exactly what it has been. I mean, right, we could see Curtis Samuel, wide receiver 16 through 4 weeks. Right? Think of a wide receiver right now through 4 weeks that you're like, how are they doing that? So again, all I'm saying is rookies, their roles grow over time. We have seen historically that some things through 4 weeks are good and we can rely on them for the rest of the season, and other things just haven't developed yet, you know? So
yeah, I hear you.
Officer Nasty says, I traded away Mike Evans for A.J. Brown, but I also have Devonta Smith. I start them both. Yeah, you start them both.
Yeah, you start them both, 100%.
You did fleece, though, for sure.
Buy low targets this week for running backs, Patty said.
Aren't you about to release a video?
I have a couple buy low running backs coming out of a video for you guys tomorrow morning, your time. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind.
Starts Stroud or Trevor this week. We'll go Stroud. Let's see. Breece Hall should smash this week. Let's see. I think True Archer is the next question. He says start one for flex, D-Hop, Addison, or Judy. And this would probably be Judy or Addison for me.
I think I'm going Jerry. Oh, I'm actually going Jordan Addison. I don't love Jerry Judy's matchup against the Jets. The Jets secondary has been great, just not the run defense.
I think I'm with you there.
So that's
a tough one. We do have a super chat from Sports Recapped. He super chat and then forgot to ask the question. And he commented, I meant to ask a question. What? Well,
just put it like.
Maybe it's the one up here. I'm assuming it's the one up here. So, because he dropped a super chat, we'll get to his question straight away. Would you accept this trade? Lawrence, Josh Jacobs, Waddle for Herbert, Bijan, Watson. Yeah, I'd much rather have the Herbert side.
I'd rather have Herbert over, Trevor Lawrence at the moment. If Trevor Lawrence was playing the way he was, I think I would rather, the way we thought he was going to play, I would have found Trevor Lawrence, Josh Jacobs, and Waddle long term. But that's just not the case at the moment.
Yeah.
But we appreciate you, Sport. Thank you so much for dropping that dono. Thank you so much. Going back to the line at the top, got a lot of questions here today.
I think Josh is the next one. Or drop downs for Chuba. It's Joe.
Okay, drop downs for Chuba.
Yeah, I would do that if you're kind of just waiting on seeing if Miles Sanders is going to play this week. But I think Josh is then the next question after him. What is up, Josh? Half PPR. Would you start JMO or Michael Wilson?
Hollywood already.
I'm going Michael Wilson. The only way I change that is if Amon-Ra doesn't play, and I think he will. I think he's going to play through his injuries. You know how his dad made fun of Kevin Durant on Hard Knocks? It's like, why is KD always injured? If KD was my son, he wouldn't be injured. You know, like this is how I train my boys.
I train my boys.
Anyway.
Yes, I'm going Michael Wilson there too. Next one, traded Mixon and Evans for CD and Rashad White. Is that a W? Mixon and Evans for CD and Rashad White.
Is it crazy to say I prefer CD and Rashad White?
It's not crazy.
Because that's where I'm at.
It's not crazy. I feel a lot more confident in Mixon long term. But I feel a lot more confident in CD long term than Mike Evans. I think right now,
though, in good matchups that Rashad White can smash. With Mixon, it kind of is reliant on that offense getting better.
Yeah, I agree. It's tough. What receivers or running backs could I get? Okay, I mean that's a pretty loaded question. There's a lot of ways that can work out, brother. Maybe if you have a specific question.
Yeah, I would say put them on the block and see what offers come through, and then let us know. Next question says, actually down in the dumps for running backs, start Najee, Justice Hill, or motherfucking Tajay Spears.
My go.
Oh, jeez, you are in a tough spot, my brother.
I think I'm going Najee. I'm definitely going Najee. And I think I might go Justice Hill.
Well, I think he has to choose one. All right, I don't think we have to choose two. But
okay, yeah,
I just don't have any confidence in Justice Hill. Last week he played 12% of snaps.
Yeah, he did. He did. He wasn't 100%, but yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't have confidence in him either. Yeah. But if he gets into that end zone area, I think maybe he can definitely find that again.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, we're about 100 viewers right now is what we're sitting at. 69 likes. Can you do us a favor? Help us get to 100. Currently 31 likes away from 100 likes. That is definitely our end goal for the stream. That is our like goal. Currently 30 likes away. Someone just hit the like button. So do us a favor. Smash that like button. Help us get to 100. And we will keep answering your questions. Super chats, of course, getting priority. The next one is from Tagazin. Someone offering Calvin Ridley for Tank Dell. I would take Calvin for sure.
Yeah, agreed.
Should I trade Laporta for Burrow or Love? I have Fields and D. Watson. No. You keep Laporta.
Yeah, you keep him.
Someone said all day. Am I misunderstanding the question then? Should I trade Laporta for Burrow or Love? Like, no. In a one quarterback league, I prefer Laporta over Burrow and Love. And you have Justin Fields and Deshaun Watson, so you have, like, options.
I guess the question is then, what's your tight end play? Like, did you draft Travis Kelce and you have Laporta and you have Justin Fields and Deshaun Watson and you believe in Joe Burrow is going to be better?
But even then, you're not getting anywhere near value.
Yeah, I don't think Laporta should be traded for Burrow. Can Laporta be traded for a wide receiver, a running back? There's no point of doing that in a one quarterback league, especially with you having Justin Fields and Deshaun Watson. So I definitely would agree with you there.
Sergio says, wow, I haven't been called Checo in a very long time. Is it safe to say James Cook on a regular basis, even though I have Stephon Diggs? Yeah, you can play Diggs and Cook together.
I agree.
Brunal says, regarding my first question, I have Keaton Mitchell on IR. If he gets activated this week, should I move him up and drop Kendre Miller instead of picking up Spears? I'd rather have Spears and Miller over Keaton.
Or Keaton. Agreed. I would agree there.
Pollard, a top 3 running back rest of season, so you'd have to give up a lot. All right, what's the question here from Chris, I think, is the next question. Start one in one quarterback league. This would be Stroud.
Yeah, CJ for us.
And got to go HN, even though I do love Brees this week.
Yeah, I wonder who you're starting over Brees. But yeah, I think we answered that question.
I am starting a lot of people over, or I'm starting Brees over a lot of people.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
We don't have too much thoughts on Keaton Mitchell personally. Jake, not somebody
he's worth stashing. He is worth stashing.
Yeah, I guess I meant like it's not somebody that he's not gonna be a league winner. He's not gonna be somebody that like is gonna go crazy.
I really enjoyed watching him out of college. He's kind of like, no disrespect to Justice Hill, but I feel like he's like an upgraded version of Hill. So in some way, I could see how he could be successful. Speed for days. I mean, that guy is a true burner. So I think he's worth picking up. they were excited about him and he was injured. I don't think they feel like there's running backs in their backfield that are, irreplaceable. So I think he's worth picking up, but I'm not like thrilled per se. Thought Criminal says, I'm very concerned with Ridley. He had a touchdown and still didn't get over 10 points in half PPR. Okay. DM First says, I'm 3-1. Should I trade Breece Hall for Miles Sanders or Gibbs? No, I'd prefer Breece Hall rest of season.
Breece, rest of season, yeah. Agreed there.
Let's see. Styles, I think, is the next one. Speaking of Dynasty, I traded a late 24 first and a 24 third for Fields and a fourth. How did I do?
You're talking to somebody that actually just traded Justin Fields away.
I did just trade Justin Fields away.
So that is
in the Dynasty League.
Look, this is what I would say. I am not. This is not geared towards you either.
That's fine.
I am still believing in Justin Fields. I'm still somebody that thinks that things can turn around, because not saying he hasn't played amazing, and I'm not fully putting in that on Justin Fields. I think that has to do with coaching, that has to do with play call, that has to do with decision making. If that game is won last week, hypothetically they kicked that field goal, Justin Fields, what a game he had. Look how he bounced back. Look what he's done to do well for this team.
Maybe, or maybe game. People just talk about the fact that he played the Broncos.
The Broncos, right? Exactly. So, let's see how he progresses throughout the season. Maybe you got it late first, because probably the highest value you're going to get for the rest of the season, based off of that game, even though they still lost. And worst case scenario is. Best case scenario is that he gets traded to another team where he is a starter. People are talking about trading him away to the Atlanta Falcons. What if he goes to the Vikings, hypothetically, if they get rid of Kirk Cousins? Like, there's so many places that he can go that I still feel confident in Justin Fields. But still not disagreeing that he has been playing up to par to what we all expected him to play this year. So,
okay.
Anyways,
I mean, look, I struggle to see how, and look, I love Justin Fields. I love him. Based on what I have seen so far this year, I expect him to take a huge leap, and it's definitely not all his fault, but it's definitely partly his fault. And I definitely haven't seen the progression that I would have wanted to see or expected to see from him this year. I don't believe in the coaching staff. I don't believe in Chicago long term as a destination to develop quarterbacks. And I don't believe this team is going to win enough games to get them out of the top 3. They also have the Panthers pick. So there is a lot of signs to me pointing towards Justin Fields will not be the starting quarterback for the Chicago Bears. Now,
Caleb,
maybe that is a blessing in disguise, because maybe he gets traded and does dominate. But I can't think of many scenarios in which that's happened. I cannot think of many scenarios in which someone drafted in the first round as a quarterback doesn't work out in their first destination. They get traded somewhere and they turn into a superstar. Like, genuinely, someone comment and let me know, because I would love to have hope, because I still have Fields in some dynasty leagues. But it's not a good sign.
Look, yeah, it definitely hasn't happened.
Can't think of anyone who's been given big money, who's been prioritized long term, who's had security after that, who's been a very good fantasy asset. Now, yeah, someone said, what about Tannehill? I mean, that's not helping. Like, for fantasy, that is not helping.
For fantasy, no. But Tannehill, I would agree that Tannehill did bounce back. He brought that team to the playoffs, right? I mean, it just wasn't on him solely. But, like, he played well.
Right, but that's not a fantasy asset you ever wanted to own.
Agreed. And for fantasy, absolutely not. I think in real life football, Tannehill has somebody.
Drew Brees is a fine one, right? Away. Like, I would say Drew Brees and Justin Fields, those are two different skill sets, right? Brees is like known for your accuracy, IQ, whereas that's kind of where Fields struggles.
Mm-hmm.
So, someone just pointed out a couple of outliers, right? Okay, Tannehill, Breeze. They're outliers for a reason, and one of them isn't even that good of an outlier. If we're being honest.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So,
I hear you.
anyway, the reason I'm going into depth because I feel like it's worth a conversation worth having, and yeah, I'm concerned. I am very concerned. I think he will be good for fantasy this year still. I do think that's the case. But I don't think they win enough games where they're not taking Drake May or Caleb Williams in the draft next year with 2 picks that right now would be the first and second pick in the NFL draft.
Yeah, and I hear you. I think there are teams out there that will be interested in Justin Fields to try and develop, especially teams that are questioning Justin Fields, or teams that maybe wanted Justin Fields in the past. Hypothetically, we don't know what happens if it's the Broncos move on. Sean Payton loves Justin, right? The Vikings with Kirk Cousins. There's a lot of teams out there.
Dude.
What about the Patriots
I hear you.
with Bill Belichick? I think there is more opportunity for Justin Fields to go to another team and still have a job next year than what it was last year.
Well, it certainly doesn't help that this looks like the deepest quarterback class we've had in the last decade.
That's so
So that certainly doesn't help Justin Fields. And all I'm saying is he could be an outlier, but historically, this has been every negative sign in the book to say time's running up, sun's coming down, big guy.
Sun's coming down, big guy. It's getting sun's coming night. It's getting real low, big guy.
Yeah,
something like that. Anyways, we'll wait and see. I would say I'm okay with the trade. All to say that I'm okay with the trade, but also that I think Justin Fields can turn his season around still.
If that's truly a late first, I'm fine with it. That's what I'll say. But I don't know what to say. I don't really know. Manuel is the next question here.
Justin Fields and Deshaun Watson. Should I trade Laporta for
No, absolutely
Love
not.
or Burrows? No, I think no.
That's way undervaluing Laporta. Pittman for Watson. I would say they're very equal.
Yeah, I would agree as well.
CJ says, hey guys, I have Aaron Jones, ETN Ford, Spears, and McLaughlin at running back. I'm 3-1 in a 12-man PPR triple flex league. I feel like I have the best team in the league, but is there a way I can improve my running backs? Aaron Jones, ETN Ford, Spears, McLaughlin. I mean, yeah, you definitely could. It's a good group. I'm not going to say it's like top, it's not elite, but it's certainly a good group. But yeah, you could improve your running backs. Tease says traded Dell for Godwin.
Would rather have Dell long term personally.
I think I'm with you. Yeah. Would you give Pittman Jr. to get Waddle? Yes, I would.
Yep.
Let's see. I think the next question is from Manuel. Says only option, and I feel like I need a better. Okay, what's the next question? I'm trying to see. Dobbs or T-Law?
I'm
going T-Law. I'm going T-Law. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going Trevor Lawrence in this one, but it's closer than you think there, Joe.
Yeah, I would agree.
Kiwi said, I am from New Zealand, love the boys content. Hey, what's up, brother? Thank you so much for supporting us from New Zealand. In Australia here. Perfect Dawn. CJ Stroud for Kenneth Walker. My quarterback is Patrick in the one quarterback. Yeah. If you need a running back.
Someone's actually going to do that? That blows my mind. That someone's in a one quarterback league, someone's going to give you Kenneth Walker for CJ Stroud.
Perfect Dawn. If you can do that, do it right now. If you have it in your inbox, stop what you're doing.
Police of the century.
Do it immediately. Royal Etienne, Aaron Jones, and Godwin for Jonathan Taylor. I want Etienne, Aaron Jones, and Godwin personally.
Okay, I'm with you.
Should I trade Puka and DeAndre Swift for Etienne and Jacoby? Puka and Swift for Etienne and Jacoby. I want Puka and DeAndre Swift. I'm 3-1 and have Mahomes, Bijan, Saquon, Olave, Amari Cooper, DJ Moore, and Breece Hall. Yeah, I still want Puka and Swift.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
Okay, if JT starts, so I bench Zach Moss and start McLaughlin at RB2. I also have CMC as my RB1. You start Jonathan Taylor and you start CMC. That's what you do.
No, I think he doesn't have Jonathan Taylor.
Oh, sorry. I bench Zach Moss and start this. This is where I will go McLaughlin.
Okay.
I'm not sure what you would do.
Jeez, I feel like we can't really answer the question yet. Maybe I'm.
And I would agree. And let me before I even before you move forward, I would say this: Javonte Williams does not play, I'm starting McLaughlin. But if Devontae Williams and Jonathan Taylor plays, you're kind of effed.
I could still see a scenario where JT plays and Moss outscores McLaughlin personally.
Because maybe they're not going to give JT the full goal.
Exactly. That's why I'm saying, like, I don't feel like we could really answer this question yet. What's the snap count for JT? Will he be limited at all? Is Javonte going to try and play? Will he be limited? Is he out? Did they make a report saying that McLaughlin's the guy? I just can't answer it yet.
Yeah.
Naves says, I wouldn't do that. Okay, let's see. Trying to find the next question. We already answered this one. Fields or Stroud? We'll go Fields this week.
Dell. I'm going Dell.
We'll go with Dell. Yeah. We'll just start Pollard, Achane, or Hall with CMC. Pollard.
Yeah.
Would you trade Aaron Jones for Breece Hall? I think I would prefer Breece Hall rest of the season. I really like if Dalvin Cook had been playing decently, then I would strongly stick with Aaron Jones. And I think Aaron Jones is going to be great. I really do. But Dalvin Cook is dust.
Yeah. I just think it was a wrong. Yeah. Yeah, I'll back you there. I'll go Breece. This is the game for Breece, brother. I cannot wait to watch that game.
Bro, I am so happy with that trade last night.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, interesting trade from my guy there. I just don't
call Zay out.
I did. I called him out. I don't know. Anyways,
no, it was funny because like the deals that I had offered, we had been going back like 6 times in different, and I felt like I was giving him more, but for some reason he was obsessed with Jerome Ford, and it just worked out that way.
I just don't think he understands long-term type process. I know Nick Chubb is not going to be there, but like drafting running back is still a possibility. Trading for a running back is still a possibility.
Yeah.
And I think he thinks of Breece Hall as like an injured person right now that like hasn't been showing up.
Which he's not wrong, right? I mean, he has shown up in his limited opportunity, but yeah.
No, and I agree, but he genuinely wanted.
He wanted Jerome. Like, I sent an offer where I was like, man, I'm gonna take a hit here, but I'm gonna take a hit here, but I want Breece Hall. And then he was like, no, I don't like this. I want a guy like Jerome Ford. And I was like, okay, well, let's talk,
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was frustrating because he was like, okay, I said I want James Cook. I'll give you a second. Like, James Cook is worth more than a second.
And to be fair, he was right. But
and I was like, okay, who do you want then? He was like, I want CeeDee Lamb. And I was like, you're kidding me.
Right.
You're kidding me you want CeeDee Lamb. And then you get Breece Hall for Jerome Ford and some shit. You're kidding. Anyways.
Some shit?
That's a whole other thing.
Some manure.
Some manure?
Beast dropped the super chat, so we'll get to his question straight away. Okay, we do answer super chat straight away. Beast, it looks like it's your first super chat, so thank you for the love. Should I trade McLaurin in a 7th for Breece? So a lot of questions here. What is that 7th round pick? I don't think many people in their dynasty leagues will be drafting 7-round rookie drafts. So it makes me think that in your redraft league, you can trade picks from the next year. So is that can you clarify for me, Beast? Are you saying you are trading McLaurin and a 7th round pick in next year's redraft draft for Breece Hall? Because that is important information. I just can't imagine that I just can't imagine that his league has 7-round rookie drafts, in Dynasty.
Yeah, I mean, Terry for a 7th for Breece Hall. Let's just say this is a redraft where you give up a 7th round pick in a 1-quarterback league. Man, I guess it just really depends on what that is projected to look like next year. But if I'm believing in Breece Hall to have a bounce back, I think I might be able to do that. I might be willing to do that Breece Hall trade and acquire Breece Hall.
Say hello. Say hello.
Hello. I forgot your dog's name. What's your dog's name again?
Bean.
Bean. Fuck me.
Rest in peace, Cobe.
Miss you every day.
Yeah, so I don't see Beast in the chat.
I would say I said I don't know if you heard what I said, but I think I would do it even though the projection of if that is a redraft league and in the 7th round, I think with the beliefs of how Breece Hall will bounce back into this year, going into next year, Breece Hall can have a Saquon type of Barkley season that we saw last year after that ACL tear, and I think that is still in the horizons for this year. And Breece Hall is probably going to be projected, I would say, a first to late to early second round pick if this is a redraft pick. So I would do this, especially as well with Aaron Rodgers projected to come back, and he said he's coming back next year. Aaron Rodgers makes this offense significantly better. Dalvin Cook won't be on this team because he's only signed a 1-year contract. I'm going Breece Hall.
I mean, if it's a dynasty question, yeah, definitely Breece Hall. But I feel like it's not. I feel like the question is, I have a 7th round pick in next year's redraft draft, and if that's the case, no, I am keeping McLaurin in the 7th.
I think I'm still doing it McLaurin in the 7th in a 1 quarterback set with the 7th round pick redraft.
Right, but you're not getting Breece Hall next year. You understand that, right?
I trade McLaurin.
It's not. I'm saying if it's not a dynasty league.
But if this is a redraft league and
the 7th round pick is the only thing that is being exchanged in next year's league.
Right. Okay, I hear what you're saying. I get what you're saying there then.
Right.
The dynasty then, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to know
Hopefully
without the context, really. Perfect to Dawn is the next one here. It says standard format pick 1. I'll go Hollywood there.
Standard format pick 1. I think I might go Adam Thielen just because of the touchdowns. I think he has more touchdowns than Hollywood. I think that matters. Actually, they're actually matched 2 touchdowns so far. I'm going Thielen there.
Okay.
I'm going Thielen.
I have Bijan. Okay, what's the next question here from Mystic Flame? I think 12-team Superflex Dynasty start 11. Start Jaden Reed or Josh Downs. Rough place to be because of buys. I'll say this: the only game you would have wanted to start Josh Downs so far was with Gardner Minshew. Gardner plays vastly a different game than what Anthony does. Gardner threw the ball 44 times, right? In that start that he had when Josh Downs had 13 targets or whatever it was. Anthony Richardson most recently threw the ball 25 times and only completed 11 of them. So I would be leaning towards Jaden Reed and hope that it just happens off of efficiency in that offense.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with you.
T-Man says traded Mixon and Evans for CD and Rashad White. I think we already talked about this one a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer CD Lamb.
I think we talked about Johnny Bravo. Okay.
I think we have a super chat, so we'll get to that straight away here from Ricky. It's Ricky.
Ricky. Hola, Ricky.
Mike Tyson. Should I trade Mike Evans for Amari Cooper? Ooh, that's a good one, man. That is a good one.
Mike, it's Mike Evans, brother.
We don't know what his hamstring looks like, so just to avoid that, yes, I would take Amari Cooper. Both of these guys are on a bye week. We don't know what Mike Evans' hamstring injury looks like. So yeah, I'm taking the Mike Evans side. Or sorry,
yeah,
the Amari Cooper side is what
Amari Cooper side. I mean, yeah, I'm taking Amari Cooper side there as well. So
yeah.
So by the way, Beast says this is a keeper league, so he keeps
keeper and Dynasty are not the same. They are not the same.
Yeah, but in
They're
a keeper league, he keeps Breece Hall though.
So he does keep Breece Hall. That's fair. But typically in a keeper league, the difference is that you keep a certain amount of players. In Dynasty, you keep your entire team. The only players that you draft is rookies. Yep. So from what it sounds like, Beast, you guys keep a certain amount of players, and then you have, a pool of all the other players that weren't kept, and you draft from them. So yeah. If it's a keeper, meaning you get to keep Breece, then that's fine. We're on the same page there.
I'm happy to keep her for Breece.
Yeah.
All right, back to the top here.
I think Tingley, right? Am I missing?
Tingley. Yeah, what's happening, Dave? By the way, how you doing, brother?
Oh, what is up, Dave?
Yeah.
Sorry.
No. I just want to say what's up to Dave. We know Dave, great friend of the show, OG, triple OG.
OG.
Tinkley says, yo, appreciate your insight. Need one flex, half PPR start. Dell McLaurin or Debo. I'm going Debo here, personally.
Yeah, I'll be right back. I'm with you.
Okay, okay, no worries. What's happening, Robert? Or no worries, Robert. Adam said trade Gibbs and Dobbs. I'm assuming for Brees was B-O-B. Yeah, Dobbs for Brees. I'm okay with that, especially if you're okay at the wide receiver position. Start Flowers or Pitt. Pitt who or Michael Pittman. I'm going Michael Pittman this week. Such a great matchup there. But Zay Flowers has also the Steelers give the third most fantasy points to the wide receiver position. I'm gonna go Zay Flowers there, but Michael Pittman a very, very close second. Bob H, Stevenson, Dell, Hollywood, and Flex. Whew. I'm still rocking with Ramondre Stevenson personally. I think Zach would go Hollywood there, but I still love Stevenson moving forward. So keep that in mind. Ian Coleman, what's up, guys? Full PPR, start one. Christian Watson or Jacoby Myers. I feel it depends if Jimmy plays and if Zay plays. What about you? Yeah, if Jimmy plays, which it looks like he should be playing, I'll be going Jacoby Myers. And I'm really interested to see what Christian Kirk looks like if Zay Jones does come back here, and what that's going to look like. So start Jacoby if Jimmy plays. And if not, if Jimmy doesn't play and Zay Jones doesn't play, you start Christian Kirk there, Ian. So hopefully that helps. Johnny, would you start Brock Purdy or Joshua Dobbs in week 5? I would be going Brock Purdy. I started CJ Stroud or Justin Fields. I'm going to see Justin Fields there. I think Zach will do the same. Okay, he's back. I think the next question is, I think Stroud or CJ. Okay, we should answer that. Mr. Green, Watson and Myers for Garrett Wilson.
Man, that's too much. I'll take Watson and Myers.
Watson and Myers, yeah. I'll take the Watson and Myers side.
I think Nav, next question.
Nav,
right?
Yeah. Should I trade Puka and Swift for Etienne and Jacoby? I think we answered that already. Puka and Swift.
Yeah, we did answer. Some of these we're answering multiple times, but we take Puka and Swift there. Let's just agree that if we've answered a question already, we're not going to re-answer them rest of stream.
Full PPR, I get Pittman, Waddle, Lamb, and Puka. Which are you sitting for this week? Who are you sitting for this week? I'll be sitting Pittman. But all these guys should be started, to be completely honest.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Should I start? We answer this. Oh my gosh, man! Put so many ones here. Austin.
I'm gonna find this guy and kick him because at some point
we answered him already. Yeah, we answered him already. Austin said, hurting our running back, looking to trade Debo. Any targets you guys have in mind? Full PPR. Look, man, when it comes down to questions like that, those are a loaded question. There's so many different combinations that can happen. I would say put him on the block, see what you can get for him, what offers you can get in, and then comment back to us, and let us know what those offers look like, and we'll help you out there.
Yeah, I put him in timeout. I didn't kick him. I put him in timeout. If you're naughty, you get put in timeout. Mr. Green, you're getting close to timeout, my man. Put your question in one time, guys. If we see multiple times, we gotta put you in timeout. Black Mamba says 1 in 3 10-man standard pick, James Cook or Travis in the flex. I have Tony and HN starting. It would be Travis for me, but it's close.
Yeah, it's gonna be Travis, but
just subscribed. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you so much.
Would you drop Bigsby for McLaughlin? I wouldn't.
Your running backs are Etienne and Saquon. No, Trank Bigsby is somebody that you need. Yeah. In case the Etienne goes down, so I would agree there.
Schultz or Smith?
Jonnu Smith. I
think you gotta go.
You'll love to see it. You have to go Jonnu there because Schultz hasn't been doing much.
He got a touchdown last week, but hard to rely on. Yeah. Would you trade Waddle and MT for Puka and Brees? I'd rather have Puka and Brees.
Agreed.
By a landslide, actually.
Agreed. Madison or Jalil's going Madison. Ooh, Madison, but yes. So guys, trade request full PPR traded. Puka and Stevenson. I got Derrick Henry and Amari Cooper. I do have Cup on IR. Trade.
I trade Puka and Stevenson. I get Henry and Cooper.
I think this really depends on how Cooper Cup performs when he does come back. I think Ramondre Stevenson, the Derrick Henry trade right now feels even. And Puka for Amari Cooper, I think you could have got more if you're looking at that trade one-on-one.
I think he hasn't made the trade yet.
I don't love this trade. I think you can. This is what I would say. If you have Cooper Cup on IR and you want to trade Puka away, you should be getting more, in my opinion, than Derrick. I think you can go get a higher, more comfortable type of players on like Derrick Henry. I think Amari Cooper is a good player, but can you get somebody else that's not named Derrick Henry?
The reason this is tough for me to answer is because it's two guys that I did not want this offseason and that I've been saying to sell high, Stevenson and Derrick Henry. It's just like, so because I don't care about those two players, it's not, okay, look, they're starting in most people's lineups, right? I'm just saying, like, I don't have a vested interest, but I definitely prefer Puka over Amari, and I love Amari. So I think I need more if I'm moving Puka. Like, could you, instead of Derrick Henry, is there a better running back on the team that you could counter with, or a more elite wide receiver? Chris says, deep league, how do you feel about Tutu or Michael Wilson at flex? Definitely Tutu if Cooper Kupp is playing. If Cooper Kupp is not playing, I think you go Michael Wilson.
You mean the opposite? So if Cooper Kupp does play, you want to sit Tutu. If you want to start,
right?
Tutu, right? Okay.
Right.
Yeah, you just flipped it, Ben.
My bad.
Just want to make sure. Do you think it's risky starting Saquon first week back?
No.
I think if he plays, you start him.
Yeah, if he plays, he's the guy.
Would you accept this trade, Lawrence, Josh Jacobs, Waddle for Justin Herbert, Bijan, Christian? I think we answered this, and we said we would rather have the Herbert Bijan side, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that was a super chat. Next one's from Antonio. Says I have Mostert, Kyron, Gibbs as running backs. I also have Diggs. Let's see. He says I'm thinking Mostert, Bijan, and those three wide receivers. What would you do? I guess it's like starting. So Mostert and Bijan. I would rather start Kyron and
Bijan, yeah.
And those three wide receivers. So that's how I would roll it out.
Agreed.
Should I grab Zach Moss off waivers and hope that JT gets traded? Yeah, I think that's worth doing. Nico Collins or Cooper Kupp if he plays. I'm going Cooper Kupp if Kupp plays.
I don't know if you saw it, but we skipped one. Goddard or Higbee.
Okay, my bad.
One.
I would typically say Higbee, but it sounds like they want this to be a get-right game for Dallas from what they've said in the media this week.
I want Dallas Goddard.
So I think Dallas might get some work. I think we have a super chat from David, but there's no question attached to his super chat. Maybe it's up here. Is it this one up here? Should I trade CMC for an elite quarterback and wide receiver? I have Fields. Honestly, dude, there's no scenario in which I'm trading CMC away.
Yeah.
Definitely not for a quarterback.
Agreed.
And then his other question would start Thielen or Hollywood. I would go Hollywood.
I'll go Thielen. It's close. Very close.
Who did the Panthers play this week, though?
Play the Lions.
Okay. Yusuf says, Tyler Boyd, Gabe Davis, Herbert. I think you have to go Herbert here based off what we've seen.
Yeah, I agree.
Clap Nuts is clapping nuts, and he says, if I was to trade Tyreek, what haul could I get back? Every time we get questions like this, we always tell people there's so many different names that we could say, so many different combinations that we could say. It's like going to Sonic and saying how many different drink combinations you guys got here. I mean, it depends on your league. It depends on how people view the player you're trying to sell and how they view the players that they have on their current team. Put the player on the block, see what offers come in, and then come back to the stream and let us know. But overall, I struggle to see a scenario in which I'm selling Tyreek. Booba is the next question. Go ahead.
Purdy or Burrow? We would definitely go Purdy this week. Ayuk or Chase? It's hard to start Chase, but I think you still have to go Chase personally. Also got a trade for Ayuk for Brian Robinson Jr. I'm assuming, is that Brian Robinson or Bijan Robinson?
Well,
Is
Bijan Robinson isn't a junior.
It's not a
should be
junior,
Brian.
right? So Brian Robinson, my running backs are Madison A-Chain.
I think you need to upgrade your running back room, but Ayuk is more
I don't-
valuable than Brian, in my opinion.
Then Brian, exactly. I think you can go for somebody else there. So hopefully that helps. Gorilla, what's up, fellas? I have a lot on buy. Pick 2 wide receivers in a flex: Watson, Flowers, Garrett Wilson, Puka, Pacheco. You start Puka, you start Flowers, and you start Pacheco. That's what I would do.
It would be Wilson over Pacheco for me this week.
Okay.
He has the best matchups for wide receivers, and they target him, was it 15 times last week?
It's crazy with these targets going forward right now. But hey, Zach Wilson picks up, then this could be great.
14 times.
This could be great.
It would be Flowers, Wilson, and Puka for me.
No worries.
2 and 5.
Eagles.
Trade Puka, Evans, and Ridley for Diggs, Walker, and London.
Trade Puka, Evans, and Ridley for Diggs, Walker, and London.
I prefer the Diggs, Walker, London side.
I agree. Trade Henry for Jamar Chase. Turn Chase into a good running back and a wide receiver.
Yeah, I would definitely prefer Jamar Chase.
No justice, no peace. Shout out. No justice, no peace.
No justice. No peace.
What's the question here? Etienne or Pacheco or James Cook for Ayuk worth it? I think
Pacheco for sure.
Yeah, Pacheco for sure. I would say James Cook and Ayuk. I would rather have Ayuk over James.
But I would prefer to get rid of Pacheco to get Ayuk if I had to choose.
Agreed. Completely agreed.
Says smash that like button. We're currently 12 likes away from 100, by the way. So if you guys want to help us get to 100, go ahead and drop the like. That was the goal for today's stream. 100 likes, 12 away. So, go ahead and do us a favor. Hit that like button if you haven't. Pacheco or Mixon this week. This is Mixon for me this week.
Agreed.
I don't know about you, but it's a great matchup for Mixon. I'll talk about him in a video a little bit later on. But Cardinals give up the third most points to running backs.
Yeah, I agree.
Plus, I have 49 kicker. Would you grab a different kicker this week? No. He's great. He's been great. Komichi says, need one for flex, Hall, Pacheco, Myers, or Moss.
I'm going Myers.
If Jimmy plays, I'm going Myers.
Yeah, I agree.
If Jimmy doesn't play, I'll go Brees.
I got a super chat
We do.
from Adrian.
Adrian, thank you
much
for the donation, man. Very kind of you. He says, should I trade Justin Herbert and Chase? I get Kelsey and Saquon. I still have Kirk Cousins, Amon-Ra, and CeeDee Lamb.
Is this one quarterback?
Huh?
Is this one quarterback, Adrian?
I think so.
I would do this trade.
It's a smash yes in a one quarterback.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And Kirk Cousins, even though he has been up and down, I'm pretty sure if this is one quarterback, you can stream quarterbacks. Maybe a Sam Howell has a great matchup. Maybe you can pick up, a Jared Goff, CJ Stroud, where a lot of people are still picking up quarterbacks. So, 100%, because you get that positional value there. So, thank you so much for that super chat, though. We appreciate you. Gorilla, back to the top here. Would you trade Mike Evans for Stevenson? Question is a friend. Question for a friend. Thank you. I think it depends on who your running backs
where are you? Sorry, I'm
Gorilla Kid.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
At the top, would you trade Mike Evans for Stevenson? I think it depends on who the running back is. I mean, what your running back room looks like.
I'd rather have Mike.
But that's I would rather have Mike as well. But I think it really depends on that running back room. If he's trading Stevenson away and you don't have that depth, then I'm not sure it's the best move to do that.
Make me like Mike.
Breece Hall or Cook. I'm still going James Cook, but Breece Hall has a great, phenomenal matchup. I feel like Cook has a safer floor this week. Breece Hall has a high upside, in my opinion. I don't think there's a wrong answer here.
I
Go
think
with the high upside.
You nailed it. Gavin is the next question. Got to start one running back and two flex. This would be Kyron. And then I would flex Achane and Smith, I think.
Yeah, Devonta Smith.
But
Breece Hall, once again, another great matchup there.
What would y'all do with Puka? I would hold him unless someone offers me a really good offer. What did you trade Fields for? Zach Style says. All right. We can have a look at it here.
Have a look.
This this is the trade that went down in a Dynasty League where I just sent away Justin Fields. I got back Devon Achane, CJ Stroud. I sent away Fields, Pierce, Jameson, a second and a third. I was definitely open to moving Fields. Feel very good about CJ Stroud and Dynasty moving forward. I've been a Devon Achane guy, and only feel like I'm not sitting here saying he's going to score like 30 points a game, right? But I think he's a top 12 running back in Dynasty for me. Meanwhile, Dameon Pierce is not someone I've wanted on my roster since I drafted him, but no one would trade for him. The only person I really regret losing is Jameson Williams there. So yeah, that's the deal that we did. The dealio.
What's the dealio? George play 101. Start Goddard or Jake Ferguson. I think we'll both go Dallas Goddard.
Goddard.
Got to start running.
I would actually go Ferguson. Sorry, I just realized the question.
That's fair.
Yeah, Ferguson's my tight end 7 on the week.
Okay. Gavin says got to start 2 running backs PPR. Mostert, Kyron, Sanders, Ramondre. It's Kyron. And for me, a toss-up between Sanders and Ramondre. Sanders playing the Lions this week.
Not a good matchup. They're very good against run.
Yeah, and that's how I'm going to go Ramondre Stevenson. Just wanted to double-check that because, yes, they are top 10 in stopping the run, if I'm not mistaken.
Would you prefer to have 15 touches versus the Saints as Ramondre Stevenson? Or Mostert with, like, let's say 10 touches versus the Giants? Because I think there's a good reason to ask that question based off what we've seen from Raheem. And it's not a plus matchup, really.
I would say this.
I'm going Raheem myself.
Yeah. I would say this.
Let us know.
It's kind of hard.
I would
say this because, and yeah, I know it always sounds like a bias, but the Giants defense, if you look at that game, was better. The reason why we lost that game was 2 turnovers that was scored, or the turnover from Daniel Jones, and the interception that was taken all the way back. And the one plus side from this game was the defense out of the whole thing.
Okay. Zach Charbonnet averaged 6.2 yards per attempt. Kenneth Walker averaged 4.7 almost.
Yeah, and once again, it's
together
not about...
easily over 100 yards. And I hear what you're saying, but my question is, can Daniel Jones in this offense score points? Can they make extended drives? I've had no reason to believe that so far.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that that's the case. I'm saying that I think Ramondre Stevenson's ceiling is higher.
I need to fix your mic 1 sec.
Am I crackling?
Okay, you guys can hear me now, I believe, but you should not hear Badaki yet.
Hello.
Okay, now you should be able to hear myself and Badaki.
Hello.
Okay, so we should be okay again. That little glitch thing.
Right. Okay. Look. Essentially, what I'm trying to say is that I trust in Ramondre Stevenson over Mostert. Based off the switch, and that's okay. Yeah. So hopefully that helps, Gavin. Drew, someone in my league, I think Patrick Mahomes, someone in my league was able to trade Mac Jones.
Where are you?
Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, okay. You said Drew, my bad. So I was trying to find the name Drew. I realized Drew Brees.
I was like, I read Drew Brees off the top of my head. I feel like he got away with robbery. What do you think? Yeah, trade Nico Collins and Mac Jones. You got Jamar Chase. That's a phenomenal trade for him. So that is just unlucky for the league, really.
I just don't understand why Mac Jones is being traded unless it's a super flex league. We got a super chat from Jesse, so let's get to that straight away for Jesse. Yeah. Thank you for the donation. Can you guys break down the trade between Billy and Dutchy and Alpha? All right, yes, we can do that. Yes, we can.
Yeah, we'll be live for another 10 minutes, by the way, guys. So if you have any last minute questions, please drop your super chat. If not, we will be live tomorrow, answering all your Star City questions moving forward. Tomorrow, so keep that in mind.
I think this might be good for me to like upload to the drive because it just doesn't look good right now, and it's hard to really understand and read. If my phone would work, holy.
If your phone will work, I'll try to do some quick fires questions.
Well, he dropped a super chat, so I want to take time on it, but.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely take time.
I have it open. I have it open.
Okay, never mind. Okay, sure.
Okay, so here it is. This is the trade that went down in a Dynasty League, the Alpha League. You guys can see it now, and essentially, one side gets Dalton Schultz, Deebo Samuel, David Montgomery, and Tua Tagovailoa. So,
Chase, I just realized what Chase said. For fuck's sakes.
And then the other side gets Rashee Rice, Luke Musgrave, and 3 first-round picks. Here's what I'll say: Tua Tagovailoa right now, in my opinion, at minimum is going to cost 2 first-round picks. Right?
Okay.
Would you agree?
I completely agree.
Deebo Samuel.
I didn't know you were going with that, so I was a bit scared.
Deebo Samuel would cost at least 1. Like, if I had Deebo, I wouldn't sell him for less than a first. You're not getting Deebo for a second. It's that weird, like, you know, hard to know second first value. And then now you have to look at Schultz, Montgomery, Rice, and Musgrave. You obviously prefer Musgrave over Schultz long term, and Rice looks fine. So it seems like a relatively even trade. The only thing is now Dutchy's going to have to use those first round picks and like make a good team from it, right? We know what Tua is. We know who Deebo is right now, and we know what Monty will be this year. So I would say it's an even trade, but if Dutchy isn't able to use those first round picks to draft the right players and to build the right team, then he will probably regret the move. That's just a question that we will find out in the future. But I would say it's relatively even. It is a blockbuster.
It doesn't feel. I would say this. I think a lot of people will probably see this trade and be like, "What the hell is going on here? Like, why is there 3 firsts for Tua and Deebo?" Because I think a lot of people still believe Jahmyr Gibbs is gonna take over this backfield.
And people don't. It could happen, yeah.
Yeah, it could happen. But this is the kind of thing I was talking about all offseason about how great Tua was going to be. Tua going into Dynasty or redrafts next year in a 2-quarterback league, he's going to be in conversation. Like I said, same thing with Deshaun Watson, Trevor Lawrence, where Lamar Jackson, where they were getting drafted this past year. That's where Tua is projecting to go as we speak right now, and if that does continue, so I think it's a good trade in my opinion, getting a quarterback and paying that price, and he's going to get extended once again if he continues it. Even if he makes it to the playoffs and then he loses the first playoff game, he gets extended in my opinion. Or if they just miss the playoffs, I think he gets extended. So I like it.
It's a fun trade. It's a blockbuster, and I think both sides did a good job of equating value to each other. Billy gets the short-term payoff with, really the only long-term asset there is Tua. Deebo and Monty have a timeline on their viability. So Dutchy's probably rebuilding, and now Dutchy has to make the most of those first-round picks. He can't flop on them. But yeah, it's a fun trade to look at, unquestionably. Okay, we're only going to be live for a couple more minutes. Thanks for the super chat, Jesse. We have another super chat from Jack here. He says, "Hey
Jack,
guys, first time watching
much.
your live stream. Should I trade Kirk Cousins, Mostert, and Josh Reynolds for Jamar Chase, CJ Stroud, and Gus Edwards?" Cousins, Mostert, Reynolds, and maybe Jack can give us a little more context here, but Chase, Stroud, Edwards. Honestly, I don't need context, actually. Every format in every league,
I'm doing it.
I'm taking Chase and Stroud, right?
And Stroud, 100%. It doesn't really matter. You upgrade at the quarterback position significantly. You upgrade at the wide receiver position significantly. And Gus Edwards, for Mostert, I think we've been trying to say sell Mostert immediately.
Well, here's what I'll say. It's definitely a clear downgrade at running back. Unquestionably, it's a downgrade at running back. I wouldn't say it's necessarily like a huge upgrade at quarterback. I think you're getting similar play. The reason I love the trade myself is because it's a ridiculous upgrade at wide receiver to get Jamar Chase there. So that's why I'm really obsessed with this deal myself. I think you did well. I think you did really well.
Yeah,
Currently
so
3
much,
likes
Matt.
away from
Jack.
100, by the way. So if you guys can help us get to that 100 like goal, only 3 likes away. We are only going to be live for the next 5 minutes. So drop a super chat if you want your question answered straight away. Otherwise, we're going in order. We might not get to everyone. The next one is from Ham in order. That's not a super chat. He says, sitting well in my league, got Allen. He says, not sure what to do with Tutu, though. Any recommendations? It's a 10-man league. I would be shopping Tutu around, put him on the block, see what offers kind of come through. I think most people are going to be aware and cautious on trading for him because of Cooper Kupp. So yeah. The next one is from Ray. Hey, guys, should I trade Montgomery and Christian Kirk for Swift and Ridley? Montgomery and Kirk for Swift and Ridley.
Montgomery and Kirk for Swift and Ridley.
Or trade Monty and Watson for Waddle, Amari Cooper, and Miles Sanders. Or Montgomery and either Watson, Kirk. A lot of options there, Jesus.
Okay, let me just think about this. Trade Monty and Christian Kirk for Swift and Waddle. This is what I would say. I think the Monty and Swift side feels very even right now.
Those are 2 different sides, though.
Yeah, like those trades specifically.
Okay, right.
Sorry, that first trade, Monty and Swift feels even. Where Ridley, I would rather have Ridley over Christian Kirk. So I will go with the Swift and Ridley side.
Okay.
Or trade Monty and Watson for Waddle and Amari Cooper, and Miles Sanders. Okay, so Monty and Watson for Waddle and Amari Cooper. My next question for you there, I would say I would want the Waddle and Amari side. What does that running back room look like then?
If you lose Monty, yeah.
If you lose Monty, and then Miles Sanders or Montgomery, for Christian Watson or Kirk.
No. It's or Montgomery and either Watson or Kirk. Here's what I'll say. Like, I like the first trade. Let's not make this difficult. Because it's so confusing right now. We like Swift and Ridley, right?
Yes, we do.
It's just a lot, so let's just say that.
Okay.
Who would you start this week? DJ Moore or Deebo Samuel? I'm going Deebo.
Yeah, you have to go Deebo there.
We have a super chat, so we'll get to that straight away from Ben Jun. Probably saying that wrong. Thank you for the donation. He says 10 PPR 1 and 3. Should I trade AJ Brown and Ramondre for Eckler and Hall? If my wide receivers are Chase, Godwin, AJ, Watson, Wilson, and my running backs are Jacobs, White, and Ford. Okay, so you're sending away AJ Brown. That is a tough thing to do. And Ramondre for Eckler and Hall. So your running back room would go to Eckler, Jacobs, Ramondre, White, and Ford. It would become a really good running back room. Your wide receiver room, however, would take a pretty significant hit. It would be Chase, Godwin, Christian Watson, and Garrett Wilson.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, you would get Hall and not Ramondre, but man, I don't. But can you make this move if you're 1 and 3 and you need to win right now? Because without Eckler, you're also losing AJ Brown this week if you make this deal.
AJ Brown, Ramondre for Eckler.
Eckler's on bye, so you're probably going to be 1 and 4 if you lose AJ Brown this week. No.
Yeah, Ramondre. Oh man. I think that is the better long-term move, though. You probably lose this week, but is the better long-term move? Wouldn't you think so? Like, you still have Chase, you got Godwin, you got Watson, you got Wilson. Your running backs are really struggling here. I'm not really struggling. They're not terrible. So what you can do is that you get Eckler and Hall. And then what you can do is trade one of those guys away to get another wide receiver. So you might lose this week.
But you're losing AJ Brown.
I know.
If you're putting yourself in a position where now you need another wide receiver. I just don't think like I would personally be comfortable sitting at 1-3 to trade for Eckler right now because I'm gonna be 1-4 and it's not a death sentence, but you need to win. He says, and T, I also have he has T Higgins, which isn't gonna play this week. Yeah. Right? I mean T Higgins, I'm sorry, like he could play this week, but he's likely not to, and I don't think that you would feel comfortable starting him.
I think my thing is that the long-term move, I think I would want those running backs because I think the running back room is struggling a little bit. And
I just feel like you're gonna be 1-4 if you lose AJ Brown this week, and you're gonna have to, like, let's just think about this for a second. If you're 1-4, I'm trying to put this together in my head. Okay, we've had 3 weeks so far. You're gonna be 1-4 if you lose AJ Brown, which means that we will have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, which will have 10 weeks left. In those 10 weeks, you're gonna have to go 7-3 just to be 7-7.
Right.
You're going to have to be 7-3 after losing this week in the next 10 weeks to be 7-7. You might not even make the playoffs at 7-7. It depends on your league.
Yeah, there's been, I mean, it's a lot of hypothetical, and we just don't really know. Look, I hear you. It doesn't feel like the best move right now, but I think it can help him in the long run, but maybe I'm wrong there as well.
I don't disagree, but he's not in a position to talk about the long run.
Yeah. I hear you.
It's a tough one, man. All I would say is I think there is more value on the Eckler and Hall side. What he has to decide is if it's worth losing this week, because you probably will.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
Yeah. That's it for today, guys, though. We did set a timeline. We set a limit. We said we'd be live for 2 hours. It's now over 2 hours. Mm-hmm. We will be live tomorrow, so come join us tomorrow before the Thursday night games.
Yeah,
tons of content on the channel. Go ahead.
For everyone that didn't get their question answered, literally minutes before this live stream ends, there's going to be a new live stream. Okay, I just made that thumbnail, a new live stream. So I was seeing a lot of people, please no answer my question. Go put your question into that live stream.
Yeah.
Once again, minutes after this ends, and then we will answer it.
And by the way, there are currently like 40 questions ahead of the person who's saying, please, one more question. In order, if we were to go in order, there's about 40 questions ahead of his right now. So
yeah. So
got to be fair to everyone. But we appreciate you guys. Thanks for the love. Thanks for the support. Thanks for the donations. We'll see you guys very soon. All love.
Love.